Hey, what's up, guys? Metal571 here. Today we're going to be talking about the AudioQuest Nighthawk. I really don't want to review this because you guys know that I don't like doing negative reviews, and you probably already know what I'm going to say about this if you've actually heard it. You probably won't want to buy this, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a sound review, so I'm going to go over specs really quickly, and then we're going to jump straight into the sound. Like last time, this is a 25 ohm 50 millimeter driver biocellulose dynamic open back headphone, technically speaking. Whether it's classified as a headphone or something imitating a headphone, I don't know. But let's talk about the bass first, as we always do. What is going on with this tuning is really my first reaction upon hearing this. What is this thing? Because the bass is a shelf, but the bass is a shelf that goes out to like 800 hertz or further. It's so dumb. Like, if you're gonna do a bass boost on a headphone, you really need to not go past touching anything past maybe like 200 hertz or 150 hertz, depending on your preference. But like, this is insane. Like, this has got this long wide hump that goes from like 10 hertz to like, I don't know, 800 hertz or whatever. It's ridiculous, and everything sounds just mushed and muddied together. Goes way out from the bass all the way into the low mids. And I mean, I tried to equalize this thing, and I got somewhere, and I'll leave that in the description what I got, which sort of helped. But I mean, it's just so weird, and that the shape of this region is so unusual that I can only kind of guess at how to do it. It's not a typical situation where, you know, some of the first things I try with EQ is a shelf centered at 100 hertz to adjust for Harman bass levels, and then 3.5K and 6K and 10K, and those are usually where headphones tend to be a little bright or a little bit forward in the mids, or you know, they need a little bit more bass, something like that. But this headphone, just straight off the bat, is just way weird and not even like a normal shape of an FR. So that's the bass. The mids, now, I didn't really care so much about the upper mids being relaxed. They're kind of smooth, even though they're so grainy. But depending on what you define as mids or low treble, this thing's got a really annoying narrow peak at 5K. So as soon as you EQ out the bass, then you hear clearly that there's some really strange stuff going on in either the low treble or the very high upper mids at 5K, and you have to dip that. Because as soon as you get rid of the bass, that removes this giant like veil over the rest of the frequencies. But then you realize the rest of the frequencies aren't even that good either. So now you have to start adjusting them, and it's a mess. It's just a mess. So at 5K, there's this spike, which is just in between kind of like the sibilance region and the upper mid-range for harshness. So it sounds kind of harsh, but a little bit higher frequency than normal harshness would be. And yeah, it was annoying. I was able to, you know, get that more into line. But and I didn't see this on Tiles graph for some reason. So those of you accusing me of looking at a graph and explaining what the graph says instead of actually listening to the headphone, yeah, I actually had the displeasure of listening to this to come up with these impressions for you guys. And now onto the treble. This is on the warmer side. It's pretty inoffensive. I think most people probably have that reaction to this, but it's so hazy. Like, the grain is just crazy amounts of it for this price. And right now, I checked, the Nighthawk is something like $299. And from my research, and I seem to remember this, this headphone was like $699 when it came out. What? This sound quality is not even close to something that should be costing $700. So, what is going on? I mean, we've got this broken bass tuning. We've got these grainy but inoffensive mids with the weird 5K peak, and now we have this dipped treble that's just doesn't extend at all, has giant amounts of haze in it, and has basically no resolution. Those are kind of the same thing. and they still want to charge $300. I'm sorry, no. I mean, it's funny, on my notes here on Soundstage, I actually just wrote, who cares? But I will tell you that I did try them against the HD 660S, which is because I don't have a 6XX, but I did just order one from somebody. But I mean, they all have a similar Sennheiser soundstage to those Sennheisers, and I mean, the Sennheisers are not very wide. You know, they don't have the best imaging and soundstage, but I felt that on Bubbles by whoever that amazing dude is. That song has great soundstage, and when I tried that, I mean, it was so mushed together in the Nighthawk, even compared to a Sennheiser, and that's not even that wide of a stage for being able to show imaging. So clearly, the grain here and the tuning is not going well with the soundstage either. So now on the upside, in the section where, you know, I would normally put deal breakers that are not the sound, but in this case that would be the deal breaker for this headphone would be the sound, especially for the price. I mean, this is ridiculous. But actually the build quality seems pretty decent. I'm kind of surprised. It looks good. I mean, it's a nice dark, I'm not even sure if this is real wood or not, but it looks really great, and it feels really comfortable, and I like the headband that automatically adjusts. I think Olive Clavinet Junkie was complaining about the K702 recently, and I don't know, I like these auto adjusting headbands. I don't really like counting how many clicks I go on a headphone unless it's got numbers on it, which most don't, which is annoying to me. But yeah, no, I had no problems with comfort. Nice deep ear pads, you know, build quality, like I said, seems pretty well designed, but it's just, I wish they put more thought into what was going on with the tuning here. Supposedly they did, according to their website, but I don't know. You can read the website and see for yourself what they said. It's weird and doesn't make sense to me. But other than that, again, the sound is just, it doesn't make any sense here. So in conclusion here, you know, way too expensive for the grain and the kind of timbre here. I for $300, I usually expect something competitive to the HD 600 or HD 660. That's, you know, usually the DT880 and the K702 have always held their own in that category for open backs. And here we have a huge downgrade in tuning, in resolution, in soundstage, everything except build quality, really, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So you shouldn't buy this headphone. It's been on the market for a while. People know that it sounds weird and off, but if you don't know by now, here's me confirming that for you. So Nighthawk, more like dark veiled hawk something. I mean, it's probably called Nighthawk because it's so dark and messed up that you can't even tell there's music playing. I don't know, I'm just making up random stuff at this point. All right, you guys get the point, and leave your comments down below. Man, I'm scared to post this one. And I'll see you in the next video.